Courage is strength of character in the face of pain, fear, or grief. Like all strengths, courage is a skill that must be practiced. Courage is a strength of character. That means that you do the right thing no matter what. So courage is the strength of character to do the right thing even when you're in pain, even when you're afraid, and even when you're sad. Courageous people are seen as strong. They have the strength of character to do the right thing even when it's painful, terrifying, or unpleasant. Courageous people are also self-controlled. This means that they can control themselves, what they say or do in reaction to a situation. This is essential to courage because human beings' natural tendency is to run away from things that threaten us. We want to preserve ourselves. Courage, however, requires the self-control to make a different decision, a brave one. And speaking of decisions, courageous people are also decisive, which means that they're good at making decisions. They quickly and effectively decide to do the right thing. They usually don't have to mull it over for very long. When they realize that they have to do the right thing, they choose to do it decisively. A lack of courage is called cowardice. Cowards let fear take the wheel and drive. They aren't about to risk anything for the sake of what's right. All they want is to be safe. Cowardly people are seen as weak. Instead of having strength of character, weak people give in and give up when things get tough. They don't care if it's the right thing to do. If it hurts them in any way, they aren't going to do it. Cowardly people are fearful. They're afraid that they'll get hurt. They're afraid of what people will say or do. They're afraid that they'll lose their job. They're afraid that they'll lose face. Fear, fear, fear. Instead of placing value on integrity, honesty, life, or love, cowards place value in safety. And because of that, they live in fear. Cowardly people are indecisive. When confronted with a moral dilemma, instead of decisively choosing to do the right thing, they waffle. They don't know if they want to do the right thing or the safe thing. Their desire to do right is weak, so they aren't able to come to a quick decision. You can take courage to the other extreme, and this is called foolhardiness. A foolhardy person is seen as stupid. They simply don't recognize that there is danger in the first place. A courageous person will run into battle knowing that they could get hurt, or maybe even die. But a foolhardy person rushes into battle without the faintest realization that he's in any danger at all. There is a big difference. Rather than having the self-control to choose to do the right thing instead of the safe, easy thing, a foolhardy person has no control at all. There's nothing noble about getting yourself hurt on accident or losing your job because you can't keep your mouth shut. The rashness of a foolhardy person's actions diminishes their rightness. Did you stick up for someone because you decided to, even though it could hurt your own reputation? Or did you do it because you can't really help but jump into a fight? This is why foolhardy people are perceived as unthinking. While a courageous person's actions are deliberate and controlled, a foolhardy person's actions are almost accidental, certainly not under the control of the foolhardy person. So if courage means that you're going to have to risk something, what are the benefits of being courageous? First, courage helps you value what really matters. I'm a person who hates confrontation. I hate it. But there are some times that I have to confront people, and it's always unpleasant, and it's a huge risk too. Depending on who I confront, I could lose friendship, I could lose money, I could lose my job. But when the opportunity arises, I have to ask myself, what is more important to me, honesty or this friendship? Or you might have to ask, what's more important, money or my integrity? Being in situations where courage is required helps you crystallize your values. Next, courage helps you maintain your sense of self through difficult times. Remember, courage is strength of character in the face of pain, fear, or grief. Now, these are unpleasant and often overwhelming emotions. They can really wipe us out. Courage helps you stay true to who you are, who you truly want to be, even in the midst of some pretty terrible situations. When you come out the other side of that awful situation, you can be proud that you didn't compromise your values. And last, your courage can inspire other people to act courageously. Often, in dark times, people are waiting for someone, anyone, to take a stand. Seeing you do the right thing, even if it costs you something, just may be the push that other people need to be brave too. So, what can you do to become a more courageous person? First, think about what you value. Seriously. Most people go for most of their lives without really thinking about their personal values. What's important to you? What do you think is worth living for or worth dying for? What kinds of words do you want people to use to describe you? These are your values. Start thinking about them. Take them seriously because they define you. Next, decide ahead of time how you want to act when you experience fear, pain, or grief. Remember, courage is strength of character in the face of these things. How will you choose to act when you experience pain? How will you behave when you're afraid? What kinds of things will you say when you're experiencing grief? It's weird to think about these things ahead of time, but it makes total sense because everyone, every single human being, all of us experience these things. It's part of the human condition. Part of being brave is knowing that and preparing for it. And finally, just do the scary thing. Whatever it is that's nagging you, something that you want to do but haven't, or something that you know you should do but you haven't done yet, something you wish you had done but you didn't, do the scary thing. Be decisive. Choose to act courageously.